What's going on, guys? I am back, and it is time to go over predictions for the final week of league play. We will also have predictions for the playoffs and all of that stuff, but this is it. This is where it's coming down to, and honestly, we don't have any momentum coming into week number 5 because week 4 was rough, but that's exactly what I have been waiting for. We finally got some upsets, and it's been... it was a blast to watch, and it's going to make week 5 even more exciting. So, let's go through week 4 first, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about week 5. So, first off, Timmy, my boy, on CLG, pulling it out. Hot Wheels Sid comes in. Now I'm definitely doubling down on Out of Style with a 3-1 over CLG, but Timmy wanted none of it. 10 goals in the 5-game series. What a performance from him. And I'm going to say I called it a little bit about Timmy of maybe he should not be playing back anymore on this team. He should be trying to just move up all the time because he is their offensive player, and he showed it. And I've been talking about that for a little while now. I didn't really like that Timmy was taking another back foot to Miho again. But Timmy shows up pretty big here. 26 shots in 5 games as well. Absolutely insane from him. And CLG gets the win 3-2. Hats off to them. I get that one wrong. That's fine. Next up, Cloud9 versus EG. Got this one right, but I guess it should have been a 3-0. Cloud9 comes out with the victory. Pretty controlling victory here. I don't think there was too much to be said. We saw at times, EG looked okay, but they just couldn't score. They would get, some control, but they just were not putting the ball in the back of the net. But an expected result here. Squishy scoring 6 goals in that series. Well done from him. Gimmick, very quiet day, including in this series, but they pull out the victory. Much needed one for them. So we got that one right. Next up, G2 Rogue. We also got this one right. 3-1 here as well. And this series was just the Rizzo show. Rizzo was just going ham on demos, just bumping everyone out of the way. He didn't care who was in the way. But G2 comes out to win. But again, it was still a G2 that I felt was they're looking okay. They're beating the teams that they should, at least, compared to in previous seasons where they would start losing to them. But they still haven't looked like G2. And that's because J-Naps hasn't showed up yet. But we'll get to him later. But Rizzo, great series here from him. And they get the win. And Crow also 4 goals, 4 assists. Well done from him in that series. But we got that one right. So we're going to move on. Next up, Ghost versus CLG. We got this one right as well. Not a 3-0. It was a 3-1. Or, we said 3-1. And it was a 3-0. But we'll blame that on the sub. Hot Wheels said. But basically, Ghost came out. They still don't look that great to me. It was actually relatively close. The first few games, I believe. Yeah, 2-1, 4-3. Finally, then, Ghost comes out with a 5-0 win. Lethamir, 5 goals in the final game. But it wasn't the Ghost that I'm still waiting to see. And I don't know if we'll ever see it at this point. It just doesn't seem like it's there. But Ghost gets the win nonetheless. And they have a really good shot at making top 6 now. Enter in the final week. But they don't play. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But we will also go down the list here. We got Evil Geniuses. I got this one right. I said it was a 3-1, not a 3-2. Rogue battled here. This was a good series, and I actually am really excited to hopefully get the series again. This is a very likely, again, a 4 or 5 matchup going into the regional championships. But Classics put up some big numbers. Sizz was relatively quiet, once again, though, with 0 goals. And it just seems like Rogue shot accuracy, it cleaned up here, in this series. Earlier versus G2. It was the same story. It was just Insolences, put the ball in the back of the net, or Sizz, put the ball in the back of the net, and they just were not doing it. But they cleaned it up here mostly because they finally let Jacob shoot. Instead of Jacob always going for that setup play where he would be the cherry picker, but he wouldn't shoot on it. He would always pass. They were actually getting Jacob some shots. He led the team in shots in this series. And they have to do that more because, honestly, Sizz and Insolences have just not been shooting well at all. So get Jacob more involved in shooting, and they have a really good chance at beating EG if they do meet again in the regional championships. But EG comes out on top. Classics played really well. They all really played really well, but Classics was the standout player here. And there you go. So We cleaned up at the end. We did a little bit better. I'm sorry. There's still one more game. I'm sorry. The G2 Cloud9 game. It was hidden because the OCE people. G2 Cloud9. What a series this was. And what a series it was for JNAPS. Like, this is the first time he's woken up into this. Like, Rizzo still played great. Don't mind you. But, like, G2, in order to be at their best, they need JNAPS to be the best player on that team. And now, it seems like throughout the season, it's been like, all right, like, Rizzo's going to be carrying them. And if they can continue that with JNAPS coming in, so it's the JNAPS and Rizzo show, we might see the best G2 we've ever seen before. We'll see how it plays out. But Rizzo had that great demo goal. JNAPS had the great overtime goal. He had the great, like, almost off the ceiling corner shot pass from Rizzo. And honestly, they were just popping off. Cloud9 again, Gimmick, very quiet. Torment actually scoring a bunch of goals. 7 goals here in this series. But overall, it was relatively quiet from Squishy and Gimmick, and G2 were shutting them down. So G2 does it again. They take down Cloud9, and now it sets up an amazing last week to see who gets top 2. And G2 is in, like, the driver's seat right now. They have a great chance to make it because they get to play CLG and Out of Style, the 2 last place teams. So good for them. But that was a lot of fun. The G2 series was absolutely insane. And I'm excited to possibly see some rematches in the playoffs. Let's start seeing some spicy games. But we'll move over to Europe. We have Complexity versus Excel. I expected a 3-0 Complexity. Complexity, like, it's weird. Like, I feel like Europe is completely up for grabs right now. Like, Complexity hasn't wowed me all that much, except for, like, the Vitality series all the way back in week 1 was, like, a series they played pretty decently, but, like, they just haven't wowed me at all. A lot scoring basically everything for them. I believe in this series, or maybe it was a later series. Oh, no, they only had 1 series, so. Let me just bring up the stats. I believe it was like 9 goals out of the 10 or something like that. Or something crazy. Yeah, 9 goals out of the 10 for a lot. But, like, you can't be going to 5 games with Excel. You can't be doing that. Pondex was playing out of his mind, though. He was playing really, really well. I was really happy to see that. Sadly, that didn't happen later. Pondex actually kind of went back down to earth a little bit. But it was a fun series, and that was Excel's basically last chance. Their last 2 raw, and it just didn't work out for them. Next up, Flipside Tactics, the 3-0 over Gale Force. I called the sweep. I just called it the wrong way. Gale Force finally looked like mortals. They were making mistakes, and Flipside was capitalizing on them. And Flipside, the best part about what Flipside's doing now, compared to what they're doing in previous weeks, is no juicy rebounds. There's, like, absolutely none. They're securing the ball away from their net time and time again. Yukio, 12 saves here. And Cookshier's not missing the ball. Like, he was missing the ball. Just plain old missing in previous weeks, and he didn't have any of that here. It was a great series to watch, but again, it also looked like Gale Force was struggling. Even K-Dop, like, missing some plays, Turbo, it just nothing was really clicking, it seemed like, for Gale Force at all today, I would say. So they definitely have to bounce back going into a very important final week for them. But Flipside, what a way to end their season with a 3-0 and then later a 3-2, but we'll get to that in a bit. Next up, and of course there was 3 overtimes too. So this series could have went the other way, but you don't take Flipside to overtime. It's not very smart. So we got that one wrong, but I'll take it. That's fine. Envy versus Excel. I expected a 3-1. Excel just kind of laid an egg. I mean, you know, it's going to happen at some point. Excel, and this is basically, like, I'm going to honestly just say this is all on Pondex. Pondex looked like absolute garbage after he looked pretty decent. Not to be said that, like, Niels Cook, he was very quiet throughout the entire day as well, but Pondex, like, easiest save you could ever make at 0 seconds, and he side flips away from it, and just like, ugh, it was ugly. Remco was making him look stupid, though. Like, Remco had some amazing plays. Devo was getting involved a bunch, and Envy looks good. I like Envy a lot, and they might make a run at top 2 this week. Who knows? It's possible. So, yeah. So, there you go. We're going to go with, like, Envy just looking good. I still like Envy. I'm turning into a big fanboy of them. They're looking good. Next up, Flipside versus Vitality. We expected Vitality to win this, but no, Flipside wanted none of it. Again, a 5-game series. Nice epic series. Cookshire scoring 7 goals. Going absolutely ham. And, yeah, it looked like it was, you know, like it was Flipside's day. Like sometimes that happens. Freaky's still putting up big numbers. He got 4 goals, leading his team. Pesci getting a lot of assists. Fairy Peak, though, has been still relatively quiet. Like, we want to see Fairy Peak kind of break out. It's kind of like J-Naps on G2 side. Like, break out a little bit. Try and figure out a way to have Freaky and Fairy Peak go off. And then Vitality will be looking amazing. But flip side, they come out with the win. Even though Vitality outshot them like crazy. How many shots was it? It was 40 shots to 30. And yet they still won. And even Gale Force almost outshot Flipside. Surprisingly, Flipside outshot them, but only by 1 shot. So, Flipside is a team that gets a lot of shots taken on them. And before, they were giving up juicy rebounds. No longer. And they get the win. They got to clean up that defense, so they can't allow that many shots and expect to continue to win. But Flipside, sitting at 4-3, they can still make top 2. It's an outside chance, but very likely we'll see them at the regional championships in round number 1, battling one of these other teams. They cannot be 6th seed, though, so it's very important. Whew, excuse me. There was no snoozers here. We then had, why do I have Vitality versus Fnatic in there? I'm not sure why. Maybe I didn't write this one in the last time I was doing my predictions, but Gale Force versus Envy. I had Gale Force in a 3-0. I think I forgot to take out the names. But Gale Force versus Envy, I had a 3-0. It turned into a 3-2. Envy played really, really well. Gale Force still didn't look like them, but they got the win, which is, like, just kind of goes to show you how good they are. They still looked a little rough, but Violent Panda finally getting involved a little bit. 3 goals, 3 assists, 13 shots, 13 saves. K-Dop was still up there on the offensive side, but we saw Ignite really start shooting well here as well. But Gale Force, very close set, and honestly, Envy should be pretty happy about it, even though they didn't make it. Oh, I'm sorry, it's right there. I'm an idiot. You know what? Don't worry about it. I forgot about the Vitality Fnatic series because, honestly, I think everyone was like, oh, this is the last match of the day. It was a little rough. So, we got Vitality versus Fnatic 3-0, I called, and it was a 3-1, so Fnatic actually got a win. But Fnatic, it's still Fnatic. They just don't look all that great, all that commanding. To be fair, though, I don't think Vitality looks all that commanding right now either. Again, though, we see Freaky. 6 goals. 6. Leading his team once again. It's very strange to see that. But then on the other side, just not a lot going on for Fnatic. It just, you know, I don't know. They just don't look that great. I was kind of bored by the series, to be fair. I'm not going to lie. But we got that one right. Not exactly, but close enough. Moving on to week number 5, which is why everyone is here. So let's go into predictions. For week number 5, I got to open up some stuff. I actually got to open up some playoff scenario sheets that I forgot to open up because I want to actually have this ready so I can let you know, based on my predictions, where people would land. So, let's do it. Alright, these are opening. Alright, I think we're looking okay here. So, let's get into it. First off, G2 versus Out of Style. So G2, very important day for them for tiebreaker purposes because they don't have the greatest win percentage in the world, so they need every single win and don't drop any losses as well. Versus Out of Style, watch out for that game too. Out of Style usually shows up to play at some point. I think Luchino's going to get a win on G2 on his old teammate Kronovi. Not take the series, obviously, but I think they can pull out 1 win. And G2, it's the first game of the day. Like, I know Crow sleeps late, so who knows? Maybe he's just waking up. I'll give Out of Style 1 here, but G2 will come out victors here. Should be relatively easy series for them, but it's G2 and it's the final week. Who knows? Next up, Energy versus EG. This one should be fun. It basically, like, the two teams that are trying to, like, control the ball probably the most, I would say, in the league. Oh, well, I guess G2 does too with their passing. I don't know. But, like, EG, it seems like they're a good team, but it seems like they're definitely behind the big 3 to an extent. Maybe they were close with G2, but then G2 can show up versus the really good teams as well. But I think Energy wins this one 3-1. I think Energy is just way too good. Their defense is holding really strong. And, yeah, I don't expect EG to come out victors there. Next up, we got Cloud9 CLG. Best offense versus worst offense. There's no way CLG keeps up with Cloud9, in my opinion. Unless Timmy pops off again, but I got an easy 3-0 there for Cloud9. Next up, we got Rogue versus Out of Style. Rogue needs this win here, actually. They don't, like, Out of Style could put a damper in Rogue's playoff scenario chances, but that's only if CLG also does stuff, which is unlikely. So, supposedly, there's some turmoil going on with Rogue right now. There's something going on Twitter. We'll see what that is on Saturday. Hopefully, it's all cleaned up. But I expect Rogue to win this. I think this is like Out of Style's last hurrah, though, and I think they can put up a fight here. I think there's a chance for Out of Style to have a little fun with the series. They already know they'll be in promotion at this point, unless they sweep Rogue, but I think they're still in promotion because they lost to G2. Yes, they're still in promotion because they lost to G2, so I think they're going to have a little bit more fun. There's less pressure, and they can put up a fight versus Rogue here. Next up, we got CLG G2. I still don't have much faith in the CLG offense, except for Timmy at times, but I expect probably CLG to just whimper out, but we'll see. We'll see if they can put up a fight for G2. Did I write all these right? Yes, I did. Okay, so here I'm going to say a sweep for G2 to end their season. Every single win will matter for them, and I think they'll finally get it there. But they will drop one today. I think one somewhere to Out of Style or CLG. Next up, the big one, Cloud9 versus NRG. This one should be a lot of fun. Best offense versus best defense. The 3-time North America champions versus the reigning North America champions. I got a 3-2 for Cloud9. I think this one really just comes down to, can Squishy penetrate the energy, like, collapse the pressure that they bring? And I think he can, and then spread out the field. So then, like, once the field is spread out and the game starts picking up pace, I would assume Cloud9 would just barely edge out energy. And I think they'll be able to, between Gimmick and Squishy, like, create that space. And I'll give this one to Cloud9, 3-2. So on that, I'm going to punch in all these results into my trusty little calculator. So let's just do that real quick. So we got a 3-1 Out of Style, 3-1 Energy, a 3-0, a 3-2, and a 0-3, and then a 3-2 for Cloud9. And this is what we get. Just pop this up real quick. So, make sure everyone can see this well. Looks like they can. This is how the season would end. You can't see all the names, but I'll read them off to you. Actually, I can just do this. No, stop it. There we go. Alright, so we got Cloud9 at 6-1, be the #1 seed. Energy, 6-1, would be the #2 seed. G2, 6-1, would be the #3 seed, just because of win percentage here. And that one extra loss, I think, might have cost them, maybe. Let me see. Yeah, that one loss to Out of Style, it would cost them there. So that game is so important for G2 to go 6-0 throughout today. Then we got Evil Geniuses finishing 4-3, Rogue 3-4, Ghost 2-5, and that would be our playoffs. It would be G2 versus Ghost and Evil Geniuses versus Rogue, while Cloud9 and Energy have a bye in the first round and have already made the World Championship. So that's how that one would play out based on my predictions. And then we'll move on to Europe. Europe's always fun. Okay. Where'd my text box go? There it is. Okay, here we go. Let me just erase some stuff, and then we'll move on to this. Alright, we'll just backspace that. Okay. Vitality. Renault. Vitality. Renault. Kylo Renault. That's how you say it, guys. Kylo Ren. Just think you're really drunk and you're speaking to Kylo Ren. Alright. Versus NV. Alright. Vitality versus NV. Woo! This one is tough. I feel like, you know, I'm going to go Envy here. I think I've seen a little bit more from Envy that looks good, but I think there's also a lot more in that tank of Vitality that could come out at some point, like Fairy Peak and Pashy just popping off. But I like what Envy's doing lately. Like, I like what Remco's doing, playing very smart. And Ignite's getting involved by just throwing the ball at the net, which is fine. Just throw the ball at the net, and like he gets warmed up like as series goes on. But their pressure has just been relentless for Envy, and they're doing a really good job in holding people back. Vitality's defense is pretty good, but I don't know. I have a feeling Envy is going to come out on top here, so I'm going to go 3-1 Envy. Next up, we got PSG versus Complexity. This one's also tough. Like, I could easily see all these 4-1 teams dropping down because Complexity, I'm still not completely sold on either. I think this one is a Chaussette versus a lot matchup. And usually I would pick Chaussette in those situations. Problem is Magnus and Mets are so good behind a lot that it's like, I think that they'll shut down Ferrer and Bluey better than Chaussette can shut down a lot just because the amount of attempts a lot will have. But I still think Chaussette will play well here. I just have to go Complexity just because of the Magnus Mets factor. I'm going to go 3-2. I think that could be a really good set. And there you go. Complexity wins that one 3-2. Next up, Fnatic versus Envy. At this point, it's just, I don't know. I have no faith in Fnatic, and Envy's playing really well. I think this will be an 0-3 for Envy. We'll see if Fnatic shows something, but I don't think it'll be in this series. I think Envy, again, their relentless pressure should be able to collapse Fnatic pretty easily. And I'm going to go with them. Next up, one of the first huge matchups of the day. Complexity versus Gale Force. 2 4-1s enter in the day, battling it out. Gale Force is really good, but they looked human. Whew, sorry, I got the yawns last week. But I think Gale Force returns to form here, and I think we'll start seeing Violent Panda slowly creep into the field here. I'll go 3-1. I think Gale Force is just a little bit too strong, and Complexity won't be able to handle them. And there you go. We'll go Gale Force. Next up, PSG versus Fnatic. Again, it's more about Fnatic than anything, but I just don't see them winning another series in this EU League play. It's possible, but we haven't seen a ton from them. PSG, we haven't seen them in a little while. It's been a pretty long break for them, and then they also had like a 1-game versus Gale Force, so it's been a while since we've really seen them. But I think PSG is one of those teams like they could easily beat Complexity, but I think they will get at least the win versus Fnatic. And then we end with the match of the day, Vitality versus Gale Force. This one could mean everything for top 2. In my predictions, it really doesn't. Gale Force would have clinched by now, I believe. And Vitality, even if they beat Gale Force, would not pass them. But it could mean everything, and I hope it means everything. And I have Gale Force here. It's the top 2 defenses. I think Gale Force will shut down Freaky scoring, and then it will be up to like if Fairy Peak can make enough crazy things happen to score, or the passing plays obviously from Pashy. But I still think Gale Force will just have it a little bit easier time here, and Gale Force will get the win. And I wrote this one wrong, so I gotta fix that. There you go. So there we have it. That's how we end our season, and let's see how this affects playoff scenarios. So let's bring this one over. This one over into the shot. All right. So, if we can read these, we got a 1-3. And a 2-3. 0-3, 1-3. 3-1. And a 1-3. All right. So, Gale Force would be your number 1 team at 6-1. Complexity 5-2 would get the 2nd seed. Envy would be 4-3, would get the 3rd seed. But this game here, Complexity PSG matters so much. If PSG wins that, Envy would pop up in my scenarios to the number 2 seed. So Envy still got a shot there. And we got flip side, the 4 seed. Vitality drops all the way down to the 5 seed. And then PSG, the 6th seed, would round it out. And Fnatic and Excel would be packing their bags, going to promotion tournament. So, this would be Envy versus PSG and Flipside versus Vitality, while Gale Force and Complexity wait. And that'll be a lot of fun. And I have a lot of yawns today. I'm tired. I'm sorry, guys. It was an early morning with Giblet. But that's how it all shapes out. But that'll do it for me, guys, for these predictions. Tell me why I'm wrong in the comments below. And tell us your predictions in the comments below. But that'll do it for this one. I hope you guys enjoy the RLCS this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I'm finally not feeling that sick. So hopefully this airplanes don't absolutely kill me. Whew! I had some terrible airplane trips last week. So hopefully I can be 100% for you guys for this weekend. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to invite 4 World Championship teams. And then we'll also have 12 teams total be ready for RLCS Season 6 already. So we're getting there. And we'll find the other promotion teams. We have 3 more to get for the promotion tournament. But, yeah, also Rival Series, which will be taking place, like, basically right now while you're watching this video. If I'm, I usually put this out at 12. I think they start at 1 p.m. Eastern. So go check out the Rival Series. It's the last week for them, so we'll find out who's playing the bottom 2 in promotion. But that'll do it here. Thank you guys for the season of predictions, for watching the videos, and we'll see you next time. Bye.